Welcome to chocolate macaroons. This is a very quick and simple recipe. There's no baking involved. You just melt some chocolate, pour it on some coconut, and off you go. Start with the double boiler. You do not put chocolate directly on the heat. It will burn. You'll have burnt in the bottom and it'll flavor the whole batch, and the chocolate will be good for now. So use a double boiler. That way the chocolate never gets above the temperature of boiling water, which is enough to melt it. And I'm just getting down some ingredients, getting the water ready. As you can see, you want the water in the double boiler to contact the bottom of the pot that the chocolate's going in. If you don't have a double boiler pan, you can use an oven-ready pure creamed coconut. It's one of the ingredients I'm including. Coconut palm sugar. These are things that I got. You can use a oven-ready bowl, like a Pyrex bowl, in a pot. There, this is the cacao butter I'm using. I really like this brand. It's about $20 a pound. That's a half a pound. And they are now selling it in more and more places. It's really nice. So, yeah, a Pyrex bowl in a pot of water will work for a double boiler. Pyrex is a brand for oven-safe glassware for baking and stuff. So that's actually more cacao butter that I want. So I'm looking at it as I'm doing this and going, no, that's not going to work. Try to break some off. No, I don't have that kind of strength. I'm going to have to cut it. So I'll give it a try. What happened here is it all got melted together. Somehow the package got too warm and a lot of crumbs got melted together. But there we go. Cut it with a knife. This stuff can be yellow or more yellow or less yellow, and it does not have anything to do with the quality. It just has to do with the compactness, because I guess when they pull it off the chocolate, they probably incorporate a fair bit of air, but then when it gets remelted, it loses some of the air. So this was a more yellow than usual batch, but it's about to get melted down to nothing. Liquid. So in go baker squares. These are unsweetened baker squares. This is just your basic chocolate for bakers with no sugar in it. Just a dark chocolate. I'm adding the cacao butter to cream up this chocolate. I've got about equal amounts in this case. I've got 6 squares of baker's chocolate, and I think that the white chocolate is an fairly equal amount of material. It evens out, because I'm going to be mixing it with coconut, so I'm making a darker chocolate than I might if I was working with just like making chocolates to eat. Then I might want it milkier. I decided to put the palm sugar in at the beginning of the recipe because I thought that melting together with the oil might help the sugar break down and have a less grainy texture, and I think it did, in fact. Also, pouring it all over shredded coconut helps to disguise any graininess. If you're pouring chocolate into molds, coconut palm sugar can be quite noticeable when you want smooth chocolate. It's got a fairly grainy texture. I'd say I've got about a 1-to-1 on the cacao and chocolate, and about a 3-to-1 on the sugar in terms of amount. So there's the double boiler boiling, and I turn it down to simmer, and thus it will stay until the chocolate is fully melted. And you can just look in and you can see, give it a stir. If there's lumps, it's not done. As you can see, it never gets hotter than boiling water. And some unsweetened shredded coconut that I buy. Don't add sugar to this recipe unless you're the one adding it and you're deciding what kind. So don't buy sweetened coconut. Coconut's pretty darn sweet already. You don't need to put sugar in it. I can't believe they sell it like that. Seriously. We don't have enough sugar in our lives. So there's about 2 cups of this here. I'd say I used about 2 cups, and I had about a cup of chocolate. A cup and a half of chocolate. It was pretty close to even amounts. A little more coconut than chocolate. But I want to make sure that the coconut's well coated, because that's what makes it stick, and there's enough chocolate to go between the coconut strands to make it a reasonably solid block. Otherwise it just falls apart when you pick it up. So Once again, I cut the pan, the wax paper, to fit the pan as best I can. It's not quite wide enough for my pans, but it seems to work in spite of that. I occasionally get chocolate running over the side, but not with this recipe. This recipe will not run that way. It will stick to your pan though, so even if you try to butter it, so I highly recommend using wax paper. Saran wrap, I don't recommend that for anything. It's non-biodegradable, whereas wax paper will break down and not poison green sea turtles and whales and all that wonderful stuff. So it's kind of lumpy, but the lumps are all soft, and when you stir, it all melts together. So I added some creamed coconut, and I regret it now. The stuff was too hard, and it took too long to melt. I have yet to figure out a good way to put creamed coconut in. Perhaps blending the coconut with the power mixer might work. I'm not sure. It's so hard, and it took so long to melt, and in the end, all I really had was coconut oil. I might have just put in a spoonful or two of coconut oil for all the trouble of putting this in. And I'd really like to know what these recipes for this stuff is made for. I thought it would be pastier, and in the summer it is. In the summer, maybe that's the problem, is it's a tropical product in a winter scene. So I'll show you that I used half a package. So that's almost equal to the amount of each color of chocolate, in fact. It's about as much as the chocolate, so 1, 1, 1 for coconut and chocolate and cacao butter. And some sugar. And what am I getting out? Vanilla. Vanilla and salt. Vanilla because it helps to add to the creaminess of the flavor. And always select pure. If it says artificial, don't buy it. Seriously, what are you buying that stuff for? It's cheap. Do you really bake that much? Eat more vegetables. Stop eating so much cake. You want pure vanilla. That's got some kind of vanilla left in it that might actually have nutrition added to it. We certainly crave it. Now, the use of salt is for bitter foods like coffee or chocolate. Salt takes the edge of the bitter, but you just want the tiniest grace. You don't want to taste salt. You want the salt to modify the flavor on a subtle level. So that was only about a quarter teaspoon of salt. Quarter teaspoon of salt. Very little. And I'm having to work to get this creamed coconut to melt, and squishing it against the sides, and thinking maybe I should speed up this part of the video. So yeah, so there's a peculiar function of salt, is that it makes things taste sweeter. I think that's probably why you put it together with margaritas, to make them taste sweeter without actually tasting sweet, without putting added sugar. It took me quite a while to get that stupid coconut stuff to melt down. Now, I know it's kind of cool in my kitchen, but it's not that cold. It's just that the cupboards are colder than the main part of the kitchen, because with the doors on them, they have less heat in the first place, and they're on the outside walls, so, there's heat loss. When you open the cupboards in my kitchen, cold falls out of them. It's just not a bad thing when you're storing food. It's just not so great for creamed coconut that's supposed to be slightly soft and is actually hard as a rock. But it looks like I pretty much got it melted down, just a little bit that's on the back of the spoon there. And remember, every time you change for a new utensil, that's a utensil you get to lick off afterwards when you're done cooking. And this chocolate is tasty. Here's me tasting now. This is a trick that you should use when you're cooking. You never connect your mouth to the food by putting a utensil in both. You pour some of the stuff off of your cooking spoon onto your tasting spoon. Then you discard the tasting spoon. But you can use it again and again, but it never goes in the pot of food. I added some sugar because I thought, I wanted a little sweeter than that. I probably didn't need to make it sweeter, but a little bit of honey. I thought it would also make it a little less hard, a little less brittle. Honey seems to soften the mixture. That's why I went with the coconut palm sugar, because too much honey and the mixture stays kind of runny. So into the coconut goes the chocolate. This is the easy part, see? Really, it didn't take long to make this. It took longer to melt the chocolate. At this point, I decided to balance the chocolate so it could drip a while I get rid of this pot of extremely hot water that qualifies as a burn hazard. And a very hot trivet. It's a really groovy trivet. It's a slab of stainless steel with anti-slip matting on the back. And it works really well at distributing the heat so you don't burn the counter. And another spatula. Oh, is that the first spatula? I don't know. It's a spatula. Spatulas are the secret trick to getting the material out of the bowl so that you have very little wastage. And when it comes to something expensive like chocolate, the less left in the bowl, the better, even though you're going to be licking it out. You want to practically clean that bowl before it goes to the dishes. Not to mention which, that stuff is awful to try and clean off in the sink. In this case, I'm going to actually make the effort to lick out that bowl with a squeegee and my tongue, and I'm going to take every last scrap of chocolate out of both the bowl and the double boiler pot. So here I'm incorporating the coconut and the chocolate. I'm basically finding any pockets of white stuff and breaking them up to mix them in with the brown stuff to get me a fully coated coconut shredded coconut. So the only sweetener in this is what's in the chocolate. The coconut is fine all by itself. And now that we've got this nice mass of coconut and chocolate, into the pan it goes. And I'll grab another squeegee and clean that out, because that's just too much chocolate to waste. So you can even clean off your utensils with a squeegee. Squeegee, squeegee, squeegee. And in fact, I don't really like that squeegee, so I'm going to grab my favorite. This pink one has a really, really strong center part and a really flexible outer part. And you can really press it hard against the bowl. Look at how clean it gets it. And there's very little waste. This, by the way, is how you use a squeegee to get stuff out of a bowl. Isn't that neat? Look at that. Most of it comes out. And like I said, I'm going to lick what's left. After I'm done, though, I don't want to accidentally put my mouth juices in the food. You want to keep the food clean. It's probably not a good habitat for germs to grow. But, you know, why not do what you can to avoid poisoning your friends and loved ones? It's just the right thing to do. So I press it down nice and flat. The flatter I press it, the less crumbly it'll be, and the more even it is. You know, don't just dump it in there and stick it in the fridge. You got to press it down flat as you can. Otherwise, it's just gonna crumble when you pull it out, and it's no fun to eat something that falls apart when you pick it up. Let's face it. At that point, you might as well be sprinkling it on cereal. And I don't eat cereal. Well, there is a kind of cereal I do eat. It's not made of cereal. It just seems to be cereal. Into the fridge to chill. Yes, I do like eggs. Yeah, while it's chilling, you get to clean the dishes. Now, it's been chilled. It's turned waxy looking. That's how you know. You upend it. And the wax paper makes it easy to get out of the pan. And then you peel the wax paper off of the chocolate like the back off a sticker. Pardon me. And I cut it from the top, because if you keep the thickest part of the chocolate down against the board, it's less fragile. So it's more likely to break where you cut it instead of fracture all over the place. And you can get more or less even slices. I go for pieces that are about 2 square inches. Give or take. And it's actually nice to put multiple sizes of pieces in the tin, because some people want more and some people want less. You know, when we were kids, we couldn't imagine somebody actually wanting a small size piece. But yes, sometimes you just want a little bit. You want to taste, but you don't want to get sick. There's your ingredients list. You can backtrack and